Come to order, please. We have plenty of seats up front. Now, somebody told me, they said, we don't want this to be like you may be in church. You know, they say sometimes them devils don't want to come close up to the front, to the fire. But come on up to the front and get some fire. We got all these seats open up here. Everything will be all right. Okay. Okay, I trust everyone has an agenda. You should have an agenda within your seat. Go along on the agenda. We have our prayer of Dr. Allie Mae Allen. She's the pastor of Greater New Life Baptist Church on Midway Street in Shreveport. And our pledge of allegiance will be by one of our veterans, retired Sergeant First Class Elizabeth Smalley, who's also the president of the Central Trade and Labor Council in Shreveport. Randy, would you get the remote mic to Mr. Smalley, and he will lead us in the pledge from where he sits. At this time, Dr. Allen.
Let us pray. Our Father God, we truly thank you for this gathering, this beautiful body of your people who assemble themselves together to discuss things that's pertaining to our lives in this beautiful city. We love you for remembering us and protecting us and caring for us and forgiving us and leading us in your path of righteousness. Let things that are discussed tonight be of benefit to all who have stopped whatever they were doing to come and see and hear and learn. We know that we will receive a blessing because you are in it, and we are grateful. In the name of Jesus, I pray. Amen.
Amen. Let us all stand. Raise and salute the flag. Veterans, you can salute the flag in the building. Let us salute. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We certainly appreciate you coming out on this night where it's a little dreary and a little cold. Our previous meetings have been pretty much clear and dry. It's like the cool, but we certainly appreciate you coming out tonight. And it really shows your level of interest in what's going on within our particular parish. And as your commissioner and as the commission administration and all of the staff people that are assembled here today, it's our responsibility to ensure that we keep you informed the best that we possibly can as to what transpired in Caddo Parish in the year of 2011 and what our upcoming goals are for 2012. At this time, we'll have the introduction of our participants. And I would like to introduce our parish administrator, Mr. Woodrow Wilson. And I would like Mr. Wilson to introduce his staff that's present here tonight. After Mr. Wilson introduced the commission staff that's present, we'll have a remote mic on this side. We'll go around to the participants from the right side. And our assistant administrator, Mr. Randy Lucky, will start at the front. Randy will start at the mayor from town of Greenwood, and we'll go around on this side until we make the introductions. So at this time, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Woodrow Wilson, the administrator of Caddo Parish Commission.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. To the fine citizens of District 12, we bring you greetings from the Caddo Parish Administration. And it's my pleasure to be here tonight with Commissioner Kenneth Epperson Sr. I'd like to introduce my team members, which is my dream team. I brag on these folks because they bring a lot of skills and abilities to the job every day. And they're some of among the best in the not only state of Louisiana, but across the nation. So without any further ado, I'd like to introduce to you Mr. Darlene Cooper. Darlene is our purchasing agent for our parish. Darlene, would you raise your hand, please? Okay. Our parish assistant parish attorney, Ms. Donna Frazier. Our adjudicated property person, Mr. Jimmy Whittington. Our Public Works Director, Mr. Robert Glass. Assistant Director of Animal Service and Mosquito Control, Mr. Chuck Wilson. Our Director of Animal Control, Mr. Avery Harris. Our Director for Juvenile Services, Mr. Clay Walker. Our Floodplain Manager and Permit Manager, Mr. James Dilizak. I'm skipping Mr. Stephen. Stephen is from the NPC. Mr. Larry Raymond, our Parks and Rec Director. Mr. Keith McClone from our Facilities and Maintenance Department. The guys who are walking around is Tom and Charles on the video camcorder in the back. They are IT techs. Did I miss any of the staff? Oh, how could I miss Captain Caddo? Mike Cox, he works in the Facility Maintenance Department. And I'd also like to introduce you to Mr. Todd Hopkins, who Chief Clerk of the Parish Commission. And also Ms. Vita Sanders is here. Vita, wait, oh, she's in the back. Okay, good to get everybody? Okay, more to come.
We about parish government, portions of city government, law enforcement, the sheriff and the Shreveport police, the city marshal. Everyone that comes under the umbrella of public service is basically here tonight, where you can interact with. Some of you that may have been here in the previous meetings, you know the format that we have. And I think it's just our responsibility sometimes to bring these people from that glass and bricks and mortar from downtown and come out here where they can see you, because I know all of you can't be downtown for the different functions. So this is something that we like to do, and I applaud the efforts of the staff. Now, Mr. Wilson took my staff. Now, we want to let you know the organizational chart of the Caddo Parish Commission. It's you, the citizens. You elect the commissioners. The commission appoints the administrator. The administrator has 401 employees that he hires, and that's the protocol. But ultimately, you are the boss. Don't ever forget that. The commissioners hire the commission clerk, Mr. Todd Hopkins, and our deputy commission clerk, Ms. Vita Samuels. And we also have another employee in the commission clerk's office, Ms. Jennifer Tatwaters. That's a hard one from it. And she's not here tonight, so that's the hierarchy of the Caddo Parish Commission as it's organized. At this time, we will go with starting off with our. Okay, right. We'll start off with Randy, and when Randy reaches around to the sheriff's department, we'll go from the SPD and we'll work our way back up.
What do you want them to just mention their name or
Right, right.
David Hanson, currently the mayor of Greenwood. I just want to say to you, Mr. Ken, what a great job you've done as president and what you're doing and what you have done. And I want to thank you for our friendship and partnership with Greenwood. And as I look across here, I see a lot of friends. And I call them my friends because I tell you what, when I ask for something for the town of Greenwood, they respond. And I appreciate all that you have done for Greenwood. And I just want to say, June 30th will be my last day as mayor. It's been an honor to serve Greenwood, and Greenwood is an excellent place. Not only is it an excellent place to live, but it's a gateway to Louisiana. I want to introduce to you Frank Savage, who's the new mayor, will take office July 1st.
I am Frank Savage, and I will be assuming the role 1st of July.
I'm Judge Tom Bryson, the Justice of the Peace, and for all of you who braved this important honor, I'll offer you a discount on the wedding.
Fire Chief, Caddo Parish District 3, located in Greenwood and the surrounding area. There's a map of our district over there. Not everyone knows what fire department is coming to their house when they call 911. So find your house, your street on my map, and you'll know if you're in the district.
Hi there, I'm John Barr. I'm here representing Congressman John Fleming. I want to thank you for having us here down here.
Good evening, my name is Chip Lake on behalf of U.S. Senator David Good.
Yeah, I told you, we got clout. We had that kind of clout out in the neighborhood. So you got an opportunity to address these people from Washington, D.C., with your issues that goes all the way up there. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, Tari Bradford, Deputy State Director for United States Senator Mary Landry.
Good evening, Jacqueline White with the Louisiana Public Service Commission Office, representing Foster Cameron.
Good evening, we're with SWEPCO. My name is Kawana Asmus. This is Keith McFarland, Steve Bracata, and April Bailey, and we work in customer services and marketing.
Do we have did they have a spot?
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll stand up. All right. Let your light shine. Okay.
Because Mr. Jeff, they don't have a spot like the whole table here. Let me bring you a reading from the Central Asia Labor Council. We have over 63 unions, over 30-some thousand members of delegates come out of our room. With us tonight is our executive board and co-committee. I don't know what happened here. I felt somewhere. Clips of stuff. Mike, Allred, and Lee. And back here with me is Larry. That's our group. Some is absent, some is with us. We want you to know that we're here to do everything we can do to work with everyone. Don't forget, Brother Epperson. We've been knowing Epperson for over 50-some years, I think, Ken. I'm telling you, so Ken, it's good to be here. Thank you.
Paul Gibbs, Caddo Parish Health Community Environmental Services.
Anthony Thomas, Caddo Parish Health Community Environmental Services.
Our Ornstein Caddo Community Action Agency, here with Ms. Ernestine Thompson, Caddo Community Action Agency. I'm from the Lakeside Center, and she's from the Lady Brain Center. Thank you.
William Douglas, Caddo Sheriff's Office.
Kurt Miller, Caddo Parish Sheriff's Office.
Keith Grant, Shreveport Police Squad. Tony Coleman, Shreveport City Marshal's Office.
Good evening, Catherine Pace with the LSU Ag Center Cooperative Extension Service.
Tim Strubel with Twin Cities Development.
Neil Bratt with Twin Cities Development.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kevin McCotter with Chesapeake Energy Corporation. Welcome tonight. Commissioner, thanks for having us. As always, we're delighted to be here with our partners, Twin Cities Development, representatives from the Louisiana Oil and Gas Association. So thanks very much for everyone coming out tonight. And let's get those temperatures down a little bit more so we can use some more natural gas.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jennifer Boyson. I'm with Chesapeake Energy and Commissioner Epperson. Pleasure to be here. Thank you. My name is Jody Brunix, and I'm the Director of North Louisiana for the Louisiana Oil and Gas Association. And thank y'all for having us here tonight.
My name is Reagan Dickens with Louisiana Oil and Gas Association, Communications Director. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. We thank each and every one of you for being here. Now, if y'all aren't clear on, okay, within, oh, okay, stand up, okay. Red.
Hi, I'm Diane Richardson, and I'm the second Vice President of the United Auto Workers Local 2166. I see our Financial Secretary standing in the back, Bertha Dooley, and our co-chair of the Retirees Committee, Ms. Lois Harris.
If some of you are standing, we got plenty of seats up front. Please come to the seats. Just got plenty of seats up here. We got some big bags and got agendas. Okay, If we have any question about the road with some of the people that are here, like you heard about the health unit, for those of you that are in the rural areas, you may have a septic system. You can speak with them about that. I think you all handle our drinking water too, right? The ones that's on the town of Greenwood, on water system. Let's see what else did we have? We have the sheriff's department here because the district that I had, District 12, encompasses about 50% rural and 50% urban. I have 2 city council persons within District 12. Sam Jenkins, I got 3, Sam Jenkins, Joe Shine, and Ron Webb, okay? So that's why I got the city officials here also. The city marshals here because some of half the constituents in District 12 are in the city to use those services. Shreveport Police Department the same way. So we want to make sure we have everyone here. We have Congressman Fleming's office, Congressman Bill's office, got any issues with Social Security, Senator Mary Landry's office. So once we have a breakout section, you'll see on your agenda, we go to those various individuals and see if you have any problems or concerns with them, and they can provide you information you need tonight. If not, I'm pretty sure that they'll get back with you. If you look in your packet also, we have information that we have parish phone numbers. We have a request for citizen action form in there for something you want to fill out. I'll take a copy to your neighbor and mail it back to them. We have every level of the commission department that you may want to meet with tonight here. We can interact with them one-on-one. So at this time, I'm going to go into an update of our commission activities. We'll go through that and then we'll proceed as follows. Our financial achievements. The Reserve Trust Fund has a balance as of December of 2011 of $40,400,000. That's a Reserve Trust Fund for the parish of Caddo. We have an oil and gas trust fund with a balance as of December of 2011, $17,220,000. So we have almost $58 million in reserve trust for the citizens of Caddo Parish. That money is in a place where it's being invested. We do not need that to operate. We're not going to use that for anything but have it sit up for a hard time or maybe some major capital project. So with that, you see that the parish of Caddo is in good, sound fiscal shape. We have a AA+ bond rating. It's the highest in the entire state of Louisiana. And basically, probably highest with most counties, even in larger cities or parishes. We refer to ours as parishes, other places counties. We're in better financial shape than the majority of the counties. I read a study last year that basically 3/4 of the counties within the United States of America have a deficit budget. And over 50% of the states in the United States have a deficit budget. So I want to let you know that we are in excellent financial condition. And one thing that I'd like to mention also, I did some research on the top 15 parishes or counties within the United States of America. Guess what? Louisiana has only one. That's in pretty bad shape. That's West Carroll Parish. So I think that speaks highly for our parish governmental entities. We have 64 parishes. The majority of them are members of what we call the Police Jury Association of Louisiana. And we all work together to try to see things that work good for one area and implement them and emulate them from another area. We also are members of the National Association of Counties out of Washington, D.C. that does our lobbying in Washington. We are members of that. We have members that are members of committees. I am a member of the Labor and Employee Steering Committee. We bring a lot of information that I will bring to you that we want to have Congress, to lobby Congress in behalf of trying to enact that legislation to make sure that we are taking care of our employees as far as labor standards, wages, benefits, and things of that nature. Caddo Parish here has the lowest debt among all government bodies in the region. Our debt is lower than any governmental entity within this region. We provided $100,000 toward the renovation of the Central Fire Station on Common Street. And all of you may be aware that the Shreveport Regional Arts Council, there was a fire that destroyed their facilities, and we're helping them to relocate in an old fire station downtown. The commission is also considering the Shreveport Regional Arts Council Shreveport Common Design Project in the amount of $350,000. This project will create a new arts district in the Ledbetter Heights area of Shreveport, and the Tourism Commission will be acting on this measure in the near future. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to revitalize the downtown area, realizing that things have been, kind of rough. But fortunately, due to the Haynesville Shell, the related industry that's supporting that, we have not been hit too hard. However, there is one entity that I'll mention tonight, and I have someone here, that's the General Motors plant. But we're working diligently as we can to make sure that that does not linger with us as a significant downturn in our economic effects for this area. The Caddo Parish Commission is taking steps toward a joint economic development authority. We're going to call this the Shreveport Caddo Economic Authority. What we are doing is we're going to partner with the city of Shreveport and the parish, which is unheard of. You may have seen this analogy where you got those two mules in the pasture tied up, and you got a pile of hay, and in each direction, they are both pulling, trying to get to the hay, and no one gets anywhere. But finally, when they realize if they go in the same direction, they can eat one pile of hay, and they can go to the other. So I think that's what we've done here. It's a simple analogy, but you know how things is operating here politically. And I think it's going to make quite a difference. What's good for the city of Shreveport, it's good for the parish of Caddo, what's good for the parish of Caddo, it's good for the city of Shreveport, especially with a small population that we have, less than 280,000 people. So everybody's just in one big pot together. The mission of the new authority will be to pursue companies and businesses of all types to create jobs and economic wealth for the area. In 2012, the Caddo Parish Commission will provide $1.6 million in funding assistance to non-governmental organizations. These are community-based organizations that's helping the poor, helping the needy. We're trying to do things with our juveniles so we can cut down on the overcrowding of our juvenile and our jail facilities. And we're partnering with citizens and other nonprofit organizations within the community to see if they can help us to minimize those costs by investing that within those communities. And we realizing that the state is cutting back on contributions that they give to those type entities. The federal government is doing the same. One entity that we partner with, that we mentioned is here tonight, the Caddo Community Action Agency. They are included within that. The Caddo Council on Aging that perform food and services for the needy. So these are the type of organizations that we are partnering with. And we are proud that the 2007 funding level that we had for these entities was only $700,000. So we've increased that by over $900,000 to $1.6 million. And I think that's significant because we need to do what we can to help those citizens that cannot help themselves within the community. The parish's finance department has earned the Government Finance Officers Association Certificate of Excellence in Financial Reporting for 2010. Our financial department is one of the flagships. When we go to our state association meetings, everybody look toward us. When we go to our national meetings in Washington, the Louisiana delegation is one that we may be the smallest, but we're the strongest. Everybody look to us for leadership because when it comes to getting something done, we get it done. Parish operations, they are in good condition. The parish's workforce is stable, with little or no turnover. If any of you want to see what opportunities we have, you can log on to www.caddo.org and you can get applications and they can be completed online. Also, the parish commission meets the first and third Thursdays of each month. The Monday prior to the first Thursdays are our work session. Our official meetings are streamed live on www.caddo.org, and also those meetings are archived. If you want to go back and pull up an old meeting and see what transpired, you can do so. You can pull up minutes, you can pull up ordinances, you can pull up all the commissioners, department heads, basically everything that you would need to find out what we're doing if you weren't able to physically come down to the commission's office. We provide an array of community services ranging from the operation of 18 compacted sites. And we're very proud of that. Several parishes within the state of Louisiana has asked our staff to come down and help them implement these. Matter of fact, some of those parishes have even taken some of our employees that put those things in place, but we think that speaks well. Because we are all in this thing together, and we want Louisiana as a whole to be the best that it can possibly be, so we can enhance tourism and hopefully attract people that might want to come here and live, build homes, have jobs, and pay taxes, and help us to further grow. Animal services and road, we also finance animal services and road repair. Any of you that ever call about stray animals, be it a snake in your washing machine, which we've had those type calls, possum in your wall, dogs that's out, that's stray, all those type things. We have a staff that goes, we have a minimal staff, in the later hours, but we have a weekend staff that we certainly come out and make sure that we address those issues. And we're as near as your telephone. Our recreation facilities, we figure in the parish, are second to none. A number of us that may live in the city may not know the recreation facility that we have. Mr. Larry Raymond heads up our recreation facilities, and we have excellent parks in the parish. There are a number of family reunions and picnics and church events that's held within our parish. So get on that website and click on it and find it out. You'll see what we have. Ours is second to none. We have a top-notch administrator, Mr. Larry Raymond, that's overseeing it. Our Eddie Jones Nature Park, which was, I think we have about roughly 800 acres on that now, and 1,200 acres in Spring Ridge. We have a biking trail, I think mountain biking and all this type hiking that people get into is second to none in the nation. People come from all over the world. One weekend, just go down there and we got several type trails, don't we, Mr. Raymond? Yes. Like for beginners and we've got horse trails down there. Beautiful facility. All that belongs to the parish in excellent shape, and it's there for your enjoyment. We've recently put an ordinance into place to put a commercial vehicle enforcement unit that will protect the parish road. And we aren't just picking on the oil and gas industry that's recently had influx of economic vitality to this area, but this is something that should have been done. It's your gas haulers, it's your the people that supply the refineries, the people that's hauling pulpwood and other loads, dirt hauls, any of those things. We have been letting that get by, and that cost has been passed down to the taxpayer. We have put an individual in place and equipped that person and staffed him, and the amount of fines and violations that we've done to this point has completely paid for that, and then we're running in the black. It's completely autonomous and profitable, and then now that money does not have to come out of the parish road fund. It almost a thing to come out of that fund itself to take care of those extenuating circumstances that caused that damage on those roads. We are working with citizens throughout the parish to address our water shortage. I'm sure you all read about the wells going dry this summer. Of course, here some people, blame and say, well, they sucking all the water up from fracking and this, that, and that. But we've had a drought really for a long time. I think we were about 40 inches below. And we've been blessed here within the last couple of months so far. I think we have reduced that significantly. So I think we should see an increase in our groundwater supply, hopefully this summer. However, if not, let's see, I guess I'll speak with that when I get to it, right, which is our water district we have. Okay, major challenges that's facing the parish in 2012. About the only negative thing that we have, we fill in that hole. I don't really want to address that, but at this time, I don't think that it's feasible because we got some upcoming things which we can talk about later on. We have an estimated $2.4 million deficit within the juvenile justice fund. Now, the reason for that being is that, that facility was put up in 1957. And it's operating on the same millage of 1957 as today. And you all are aware of the situation that we have over at juvenile with overcrowding. I think we've had to increase judges and other support staff. So at some point in time, we're going to have to address this issue to alleviate that shortfall. So we will let you know what we'll do about that in the future. We are in the process of creating a parish utility district that will provide for the citizens with potable water. The rainfall doesn't get here. We want to make sure that we continue to grow. We realize that that I-49 has been completely funded now all the way up to the Arkansas line, which that's going to encompass us to have tremendous growth in the northern part of the parish. And we want people to go up there buy homes. We want them to open up businesses because you don't have interchanges. Because I-49 will go all the way up on into Kansas City. That's going to be a tremendous economic impact. And we want to make sure that we have a sustainable part of the water supply for our citizens and business to maintain. So we're working together with who we got? Bossier Parish to get that going. The infestation of giant Sylvania plants, you all heard about those plants that just growing up and eating up the lakes. Some foreign plant that was introduced. You know that water sports and fishing is a great economic impact to this area. So we are working on getting grants at the federal government level and doing whatever we can to try and abate that infestation of those deals. We have various economic development issues that's on the table. Even though we may be looking at General Motors, we realize the impact that that's going to have when we lose those, when that plant shuts, and we lose the 800 or so employees that's remaining, as well as the collateral employees with the supply. However, we want you to know that we are not just sitting on our hands. We have several economic development issues that we are in the process of negotiating with now. We cannot come out publicly, but we are optimistic that we're going to bring something in to fill that void and even exceed the void that General Motors believe when they go, and the other issues that will close down. But we're diligently working on it. Just because you don't see or hear anything doesn't mean that we aren't doing anything. Federal appropriation request, the parish submitted to Congress for 2012. Completion of the Southern Loop Highway from Linwood to Highway 3132, requested $43 million. You know, sometimes, you listen at these figures, and I know everybody say, hey, they must be out of their mind. But guess what? If you don't ask, you never know. And a piece of something is better than a piece of nothing. So they see us come up there every year, knocking on their doors, and we're going to continue to do it. Construction of a railroad underpass for the town of Blanchard. We requested $4 million for that project. And we're requesting $700,000 of federal government assistance to fight the giant Sylvania plant in our area. Other noteworthy issues, the parish of Caddo is in an agreement with local businesses to construct a compressed natural gas station in South Caddo Parish. Hopefully this is something that will catch on. We're trying to get green vehicles. You know, we got this Haynesville share here. We're sitting on top of all this natural gas. We need to find some industries and some things that can use it. So we're going to put up a compressed natural gas station at intersection of 169 and Coastal. Hops Corner. You all may know it is. Hops Corner. So as these cars come into play, you'll have somewhere to fuel them. I think the parish is going to look at maybe some experimental vehicles. I was looking on the news this morning where UPS in Las Vegas is going to a fleet of their vehicles using that presidential bill. So we want to urge them on. We want the price to go up on that gas so that can help boost us down here. Caddo Parish Commission renovated our facility at 1031 Crestwood to house our veterans. The Constitution mandates that we provide a veteran service officers for our veterans. We have a very nice state-of-the-art facility that we utilize a building that we already had in place. We utilize parish employees basically to do the renovation, and we have ample room to take care of the needs of any veteran within Caddo Parish, and it's right next to our Caddo Parish Health Unit down on Crestwood Street. The Caddo Parish Commission has been hard at work to keep the General Motors plant open. In spite of our best efforts, this will not happen. I'm sure you're all aware of that by now. We tried everything within our power to see if we could prevent that, but unfortunately it didn't happen. However, we aren't just sitting down waiting on being reactive. We have been proactive. Racial Trust LLC, which I have Ms. Patricia Stigley, will be here tonight to give us a presentation. As the commission told you, we will keep you informed as to what's happening every step of the way, because that is a significant investment that this parish has put into that facility and those employees for the last 3 decades. So we're diligently working to make sure that something happens there, that facility does not turn out to be a rust bucket. I want to just always give you a history of what transpired, how the General Motors plant came to be. And I think the media had one, I don't know if they're still here, but I told them I wasn't going to interview with them today because I was going to do this tonight. So if they wanted to know, come out here. So we have the General Motors facility in 2007 had employed 1,609 employees. It's not talking about your suppliers. In 2008, that number dropped to 746. The hourly employees at one point were 1,480. The salary was 129. It's represented by the United Auto Workers Local Union number 2166. We produced the Colorado Canyon, the Chevrolet Colorado, the GMC Canyon, the Hummer 3, the Suzuki pickup. Now, just to give you a little information about what happened, that they are closing our facility. They are going to locate that production to Wentzville, Missouri. They're going to spend $380 million building a 1 million square foot facility. They're going to hire 1,250 employees up there, and we still got that down here. We can just keep rolling. However, that's behind us, and we want to move forward. But of course, it bothered me because we bailed them out. Yeah, we bailed them out. It took a lot of heat. They say government motors. You know what I mean? But we're back. General Motors is back number 1 now. But of course, it hurt. Because we did all that we could do. And then listen to these figures. The annual wages was $140 million annually. The property taxes, $4.2 million. Caddo Parish's share was $1.87 million. We're going to lose all of it. They're the second largest taxpayer in the parish. General Motors invested approximately $80 million in that H3 truck. The plant size is 4.5 million square feet. The parish donated 265 acres of land valued at $8 million to get them to come here. We donated all the equipment and 1,000 man hours to clear the land for the new expansion project in 2001. We gave General Motors back on the enterprise zone tax rebates in 2004, $2 million. 2005, $3.298 million. 2008, $1.2 million. The total amount that we have rebated them within the last 3 or 4 years is $6.59 million. Try to keep them here. And in 2008, we passed an ordinance to waive collection on any new equipment as far as any taxes being paid by General Motors. So we did all that we could to keep them here. So that's where we are at this point in time. I would like to transition into some of my personal endeavors and objectives for 2012. We passed a resolution in support of $244,000 on the capital outlay of 2012 from the state of Louisiana to build a fire substation on Jolly Napier and Lakeshore Drive. We got support of the commission on that. We're going to aggressively follow that in Baton Rouge this year. And Chief, hopefully that'll come to fruition and we can provide services on that side. Because I think we had several fires this year, and I believe our response could have been better if we had a station closer. The results would have been different. So we're going to keep informed on that, and we're going to ask you to contact within this district. We also have three state representatives. That's why sometimes I can't see why some people are always bickering, because we have the same constituents. We have 2 senators, Senator Greg Thomas and Senator Sherry Cheeks in District Commission District 12. We have 3 state representatives, Barbara Norton, Patrick Williams, Jim Martins. We have all, you see what I mean? You got 3 city council persons and 1 commission. We should have one objective in doing what's best for the same constituents that we all serve. But oftentimes it doesn't work that way. Also a bill that I'm pursuing, and the commission voted favorably to introduce it to our Police Jury Association of Louisiana, and subsequently to the state legislators and those legislatures that I just called off. I want you all to make sure that you contact them and lobby on behalf of it. I call it equal access to public office. Many of you may be familiar with the Gettysburg Address. When President Lincoln came out, you know, that balanced all of those soldiers that died during the Civil War, brothers against brothers. And they were dedicating a portion of where that battle was fought for a veteran cemetery. And one thing that stayed in my mind was a government for the people, by the people, of the people. Those guys gave their all for that government. I don't think no soldier back then, or no soldier today, would go into the military, pledge allegiance to the Constitution, and say, I'm for big business. That's why I'm fighting. I'm for the South Side Street Board. That's why I'm fighting. I'm fighting for New York. I'm fighting for California. Well then, why can't we have equal access to public office? Do you know that there are some people that think that government offices are for the elite? And that's wrong. That's wrong. Now, you know, when he started off the Gettysburg, he said 4 score. That means that was back then when we rebelled against Britain. And why did we rebel against Britain? Because you had to own land, you had to be rich, you had to be educated, you had to be a certain person to participate in those things. Unfortunately, that isn't happening today. We have elected officials that, people that punch a time clock. That's what I'm saying. Do you know that there are some companies that would not allow them to get off? But hey, did nobody say nothing when they went to Vietnam? Nobody say nothing when they went to Iraq, Afghanistan. It's not right. And we need to make sure that every individual has a right to participate, and that's the nature of that particular bill. Now, there are some things in there, we're going to make some concessions, but I think it's imperative that everyone within these United States of America and the state of Louisiana be afforded the right to participate. There have been instances that our members of our association of states, because of the philosophy that an elected official had, that they would even let them off to go make a vote. And we know how cynical they were doing that. I mean, it's not right. So I want you to be cognizant of that and to keep you informed. Some things for the Public Service Commission. You know, we hear people always talk about taxes, taxes, taxes. But do you know that we're being taxed to death and we don't have no say? Have you looked at your insurance bill, your automobile insurance bill? What they charge you? A billing fee. You looked at your gas bill lately? Often they charge you a $10 billing fee. And they charge my church and business $16. But guess what? I say, well, why are you charging me $10 for a bill? I opted to go green. My bill comes out automatic out of my checking account each month. You don't even have to send me no bill. But when I get a bill, it's filled with a bunch of junk that I don't want. 10 times 12, that's $120. That's a few tanks of gas. Right? Okay. And I'm going to do some research on it, but I did do some research. Have you looked at your electric bill? Do you know that over 40 to 50% of your electric bill is what they call a fuel charge? Yes. But guess what? Every day I go that 14 miles round trip to where I work, and I see that gas go up and down. I can't go in there to my boss and say, hey, give me a fuel charge on my check because gas went up. From August of 2010 to June of 2011, that fuel charge was $132.6 million just for the parish of Caddo. And did you read the article today where they go build a new plant and they talking about the new green initiatives that they have to put in place? And you know what they say? You know they're going to pass that on to, don't you? Okay. In today's paper, you got a deal about natural gas. Look at how they pass the costs on to you. These things we need elected officials that are going to be more consumer advocates. You know, just because it doesn't say tax, that's not considered as a tax. And then I go down to a legislature, they tell me, a lot of people don't like that. Well, hey, you people that haven't received an increase in their paycheck in 3 or 4 years. So we can't just continue to absorb costs for them, you know, something has to give on it. So that's another item that we're putting in. And some of these issues are going to have to go to the Public Service Commission of the state, and we're going to be lobbying that in behalf of in D.C. We go to D.C. also. Another thing is, I want to thank you all for allowing me a second term. I was re-elected. I had the same opposition that I had initially in 2007, and I appreciate you holding me back in 2-1. However, there are some inequities in our laws as it relates to that. I figure that if I have a clean record when it comes to sign up for a public office, and my opponent or some challenger has outstanding fines with that particular commission that we all have to go through, I don't think it's fair that they should be able to participate the same as I am. We need to look at that. I'm going to have that look at it because it's not fair. It's just not fair. So these are some things. Also, we want to look at the so-called ethic law that they put in place probably about 6 or 7 years ago. It knocked a lot of elected officials off of boards and commissions where we made quite a difference because we are more astute and we're more articulate and more experienced and educated in running these organizations. And right now, if you pick up your paper, you're going to see every day where there's something that's going on in some of these organizations because they run all of us out. We need to change that. It's well that citizens want to participate, but oftentimes citizens just not articulate enough and astute and experienced enough to get those organizations. So that's another thing that we're going to look at. Chapter 12 of the Civil Service Code, Rule 12.7. We want to change that to give an employee that is up for disciplinary action, up to and including discharge, the right to have a hearing and render a proper defense. We want to make sure that all of our employees are treated fairly. And this is for you, basically, your public service employees. It's going to be a state bill, so we're looking at that. Because jobs are hard and far and few in between, and we need to do everything, making sure that people are doing the right thing. But I think it's just as important for an individual to have a proper defense and a proper means of redress when it comes to his or her employee as it is for us to have the right to fair trial in the court of law. Because we're looking at lives here. We're not just looking at an individual that's been accused of something. We're looking at children. We're looking at grandchildren. We're looking at sometimes just one step away from foreclosure, whatever that nature. So that's what I have today, and I want to make sure that I keep you all informed as to where we are at this point in time. And at this time, I'm going to introduce Ms. Patricia Spisley from Racer Trust LLC, and she will give us an update as to where we are with the general homes facility.
So thank you. I'm Patricia Spitzley. I'm the Deputy Redevelopment Manager for the Racer Trust. I want to thank you for the great weather here. It's 50-something degrees here in Michigan. It's cold, so I can stay down here all day. I've been walking around with a coat on and everything. I'll probably catch a cold, but I love it. So natural gas people, I love it. You can go up to Michigan, it's 30, 20. You can sell all natural gas up there you want. I love it right now. The Racer Trust, Racer stands for the Revitalization of Auto Communities Environmental Response Trust. The trust was born as a result of the GM bankruptcy. It was a settlement agreement between the old GM, or Motors Liquidation Corporation, and the United 14 states, Louisiana, of course, one, and one Indian tribe, the St. Regis Mohawk tribe, which is in New York. The trust is about a $770 million trust. And what happened is when this is kind of a short version, when GM went through the bankruptcy, they put all their assets in bankruptcy, and then they repurchased assets, and they left 89 properties in 14 states. And that's a real simple way. There's a lot of other legal things, and so, if I miss something and someone from GM wants to come in and add to that, they're, more than happy to do so, but that's the kind of the Reader's Digest version. So the trust was born. We have 89 properties, former GM properties, in 14 states. Approximately 60 of those properties have some environmental issues there. And so we have $500 million that's dedicated to cleaning up those properties. The goal of the trust is to help those communities that have been impacted by the closing of GM. And we do that in a couple ways. The first way, what I was talking about, was cleaning up of the facilities that we own. Now, the Shreveport facility has no known environmental contamination, so there isn't a cleanup budget there, which is good. That's a good thing. We have cleanup budgets in some places that are over $100 million. So, and if anybody has a question as I'm going through this, please feel free to So, again, the mission of the trust is to help those communities, and we do it by cleaning up the properties. And then the second part, which is the part that I'm involved in, is the actual marketing of the properties to sell them to an end user. The main part of my duty is to interact with the local governments where our racer properties are located. And so I meet quite regularly with Caddo Parish and the folks there. What we're doing is to work with them to try to figure out what they would like to see. Once it was finalized and it was, a certainty that GM was not going to stay here, then we reached out to the parish. Well, we've got some work to do. We've got to figure out, what do you want to see there? How would you like us to market it? And so we worked with the parish to put together a marketing brochure on the site. This site has a great qualities because it's fairly new. The equipment is new. We were very hopeful and encouraged that we, through our marketing efforts and work with the parish, that we'll be able to get the end user in there. As part of our redevelopment of the property, and when an end user comes in and someone comes and wants to purchase the building, we look at a number of things. We look at how much they're asking for on the property. That's important to us because the dollars that we get for sale of property goes back into our budget to help us market other properties. So we always say that we're a trust, we're not a charitable trust. And so when someone comes to us, we're looking at, fair market value for the property. The other thing we look at is how many jobs that end user is going to bring into the community. If our mission is to help those communities that have been impacted by the trust, it makes no sense. It makes no sense for us to accept for sale something that's not going to be an economic partner for the parish and it's not going to generate jobs. We also look at whether or not that end user or that person who wants to purchase is going to increase or prevent us from fulfilling our environmental responsibilities at the site. And again, because there is no cleanup dollars for this site and there's no known environmental issues there, that one doesn't, that criteria, we use that for other sites that probably wouldn't apply here. We also look at what are they proposing to do? We have somebody who comes in and says, this little black box here, we're going to build this and it's going to create 15,000 jobs. Well, we then investigate because we need to know that they're going to mean what they say. If they're saying they're going to create these, then they need to show us the books, they need to show us the work plan, they need to show us all the information to convince us that they're actually going to do what they say. We work with, again, the local units of government. We consult with them to make sure that this is something that they feel is the best fit for the community. We also do extensive background checks, we do criminal checks. We look at their, their bank, their investors. We do all of these things so that at the end of the day, when we look at this end user, we can come to the parish and say, this is end use that's going to be good for the community. They mean what they say. They're not some fly-by-night, corporation or end use, but they're actually going to be a benefit. Now, I say that, and can I say with 100% certainty? No, but I can say, we work diligently to make sure that whatever end user comes in is going to fulfill those 6 criteria and fulfill the mission and the desires of the parish for economic development. That's generally what I wanted to say about who Racer is. I do want to say that, Racer Trust, we're here for the long term. We're working with Commissioner Epperson and we're working with the parish to make sure that we bring someone back here that's going to be a good economic partner. We're not interested in someone who wants to come in and scrap the building and then walk away. So, and we've had people that come to us and say, we'll buy the building, and then they'll turn around and they'll demolish it. You can make a lot of money demolishing that building with all the steel and all the other stuff, and then they walk away. Those are people that we're not interested in, and that's why we vet them very carefully. We're not interested in folks, again, who are coming in with, these grandiose plans, but not a clue at how to make them a reality. We're looking for real folks to come in and do real jobs. So, that's my presentation. You'll see me probably a lot. My job is, again, to work with the community and work with the parish and work with Mr. Epperson to keep them aware of what's going on and to be a good neighbor. So I appreciate the time.
Let me go ahead. Let me sit up at a table, and that way we get back on track. You know the format that we do, okay? All right. You fine. They will be articulated. Yeah, we keep you. We all these press conferences we had, and we deal with your leadership out there too. So okay, thank you. Thank you, Pat. All right. At this time, we'll have Mr. Woody Wilson come forward. And if you would look, let's see, the handout. Right. He's giving them out. And what we're going to, Mr. Wilson's going to do is explain to you the tax renewals that are coming up in April for the parish of Caddo.
Let me, for the record, state a couple of facts. The Caddo Parish Commission has not, during assessment time, when the tax assessor come out and assess our property values, we have never rolled forward in the last 15 years. Okay, we always accept the lesser value to collect, not the full authorized value that the citizen asked for us to collect to perform certain services. So it tend out to actually lowering the taxes over time, but we still need to collect taxes. Our annual budget is about $87 million, and as Mr. Epperson stated, that we have about $57 million in reserve trust fund, but that's not enough to operate parish government. And not all taxes are bad taxes. We have to have taxes to have good roads. One of the things that we didn't mention to you tonight is our public works budget. We spend about $9 million every year, approximately, doing about 50 miles of road throughout the parish. We have about 850 square miles of roads. And what we've been able to do over the past several years, instead of repairing our roads on a 20-year cycle, we have down to 15 years now. So every 15 years we're back to rehabbing that road, a major rehab project on our roads. And that's why we use the tax to help support the infrastructure of the parish. On April 21st, we have 5 propositions that will be coming forth to the citizens to consider. We have 2 proposals, Proposition 1 and 2 is from the library system. The library is asking for your support to renew, it's not a new tax, it's to renew the existing tax at the current rates, which is below what the citizens approved the last time we came before you. Okay? So we're asking to redo that so we can keep our library system operating and open and providing a service to the citizens of the parish. Proposition 3 deals with the Caddo Correction Center. You all know we have to have that facility to go along with our criminal justice system. For those who just refuse to obey the rules about community and our land, the justice system take this course and put them in CCC. And that money will be used to pay for the continual operation of the Caddo Correction Center, as well as the criminal justice system as well. Proposition 4 deals with operating our public works department, and I can brag on this fact that our public works department is the best across the state of Louisiana because we maintain very good working condition, 178 bridges throughout the parish, 800 and so square miles of parish roads. We deal with drainage issues, and I think we've done a great job providing those services to our community and our citizens. So we're asking for your support to renew that as well. Proposition number 5 deals with the health tax. The large facility health unit on Crestwell Street is funded out of this. The WIC program, the communicable disease control, the shots, the birth certificate records and stuff are all kept there. And that facility, in addition to animal services and mosquito control, comes out of the health fund tax. And it's a very tight budget, but we make do with the resources that the citizens provide us. So these are some of the measures, the 5 propositions. The handout go into a little more detail about what they'll be used for. And I'd like to say, as the parish administrator, we have done an exceptional job managing the resources that you all provide us and the tax investments that you make in our community. And hopefully we have given you a good return on that. I'm convinced that we have. But without taxes, it will be very difficult to operate government and provide all the infrastructure services that you have come to rely upon. If there are any questions for me, I'll be available to answer whatever questions you may have relative to this renewals. It's not an increase, and we're renewing at the lower rates. So please, be so kind to help us to keep growing our exceptional fine community that we have for your support and your investment in taxes. Thank you so much.
Just remember, a renewal for 10 years. It's already in place, and I think some of them are at reduced rates than they were. All of them are at reduced rates than they were initially, okay? So we're asking you, please vote yes. You've seen the beautiful library facilities we got. Health unit, we purchased that, and that should last us through what we say year 2050 at the current rate of growth, so we're doing well there. And animal mosquito control, nice new facility, responsive, up-to-date technology. So it's just a renewal at lower rates for 10 years. Okay. All righty. At this time, any of my colleagues in the House, I saw Commissioner Johnson. I'd like to introduce Commissioner Johnson. Stand up and introduce yourself. That's a fine young man that's coming into government, and we need more young people to come into government.
Good evening. I'm Commissioner Johnson. I'm Caddo Parish Commissioner for District 2, which is North Shreveport, North Caddo Parish.
Thank you for that. Is there anyone from any other entity that may have come in?
Master for Comcast Services, Tom Rice, General Manager, maybe promised to let you know that we were proud of it.
I got a spot for you with a tag on it. Don't come in here to my meeting and try to hide it. Matter of fact, I got a problem with my case. Let me say so, hey, show him his position over there, Rand.
Okay.
I know a lot of people to talk to. And, the Internet Essentials program, yeah, need to talk with him about that. Okay. All right, at this time, we all know the spiel. I know everybody wants to know where Chesapeake Corner is located. Public Works Department, roads, raise your hand. Roads, streets.
Robert.
Robert, okay. See that gentleman over there, Public Works? All right. Any other concerns? We got the Commisisoner office over here, we got Mayor Greenwood, the new mayor, we got Epperson. Everybody. So you all know the spiel? Okay. Oh yes, one more thing I forgot in my accomplishment. Do you know that there are only 2 ways, you know, Jefferson Page, now have your attention please, won't be long, off of Jefferson Page, you know, you catch it up here at Greenwood and 80, and you can run into Pines Road. I am looking at proposing cutting the road in from just across from Jolly Napier, and using, Robert, you have a picture, don't you? We think that would help us in our response to fire. Plus, many of you that live in this area may know what happens when an accident is on Greenwood Road. It almost bottlenecks us in. So we're probably looking at taking Dawson Road, finding the most right way, and cut it all the way to Greenwood Road. Okay, you all think that's something that's needed? That's going to be a major project, so we're going to look at that, and hopefully I can get my colleagues to go along with me. And we have a map back there, if you want to look at that proposed map as to what we're looking at. And also, I'm not going to go into that, we're looking at a business entity that will be located behind the old sports mall. That's still on the table, right? We can't talk about it right now, but 1,000 jobs. And they are digging, now what makes me feel good, I understand they're taking core samples. They're doing the core samples back there. Okay? So we're working for you. All right, at this time, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for coming out. Tomcats, make sure you man your votes now. Good to see you. All right, thank you all.
Hey, can I give it to you, but you can put it back up here to Tom?